Welcome back to GearCheckGames. My name is Trey. This is Metroid Zero Mission Part 5. And again, I am joined by Joe, Dan, and Trent.
Hello.
And the professor. And Marianne.
And the rest.
And lava.
Like Trent was saying before we got back on, the last thing we did, the big major thing we did was take out the Big Pickle Kraid himself.
The King Pickle.
Yes. And then we got the speed booster. Then I kind of wandered around Kraid for a bit, got some treasure. And now we're back to Norfair, and the quest now is to go storm Ridley's lair.
Oh, finally.
Yep.
It's the time somebody did something about that purple dragon.
I know.
Antagonizing our sheep.
So that little lava pool secret that's not actually a lava pool, how is that explained, like, in-universe?
In-universe, it's not.
The cameraman is easily fooled.
Well, there wasn't a little snippet of the lore in the instruction manual talking about how not all lava is real?
No.
Hashtag not all lava.
I mean...
Because, like, pretty much everything else you can, like, it's just blowing up terrain, so, like, you don't really raise an eyebrow. But how is lava there, but it's not actually there?
I mean,
maybe it's a hologram?
It's one of Mother Brain's dastardly tricks.
Presumably they have hologram technology at this point. No.
Yeah, I kind of wish, like, maybe in future Metroids, if they ever eventually remake a remake, they'll show like a little projector there or something.
Metroid 1 mission.
0.5, the Nomura Chronicles.
Yet another Zero mission.
So this corridor is kicking my ass. I'm trying to kill these guys enough to where I can speed boost through here and get the speed boost block destroyed in the next room, but it's not working because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, pro tip for that, they won't respawn if you don't pick up the power-up they drop.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was gonna say I'm getting that Metroid 1 nostalgia again.
I mean, this is Metroid.
Just endlessly killing enemies to refill my health.
Oh yeah, there's what are those guys that walk back and forth called?
I think those are they're a variant of Rippers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really like the super fast Rippers. They're really intimidating.
Yeah.
That's Ripperoo from Crash Bandicoot.
Do you really enjoy the fact that they have in the same room a fake lava pit and then a real lava pit? It's one of those little cheeky design things that I mentioned earlier.
Which is it, Zero Mission? Come on!
But yeah, I really, like you said last time, I really like the bubble rooms. I really appreciate that aesthetic quite a bit.
Oh yeah. It's certainly one of my favorite from Zero Mission.
This whole environment is just hella Contra.
Really is.
Dan, I think you mean hella Giger.
Yeah, that too.
Let's give the man his due credit here.
Who's dang xenomorphs?
But I mean, come on, who knows about H.R. Giger? It's all about Contra.
Nerds!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a super lava room.
Yeah.
I every time I see these rooms, I assume I don't have a Varia suit. Oh, there's another one I didn't know was there.
But yeah, not having the shoulder pads makes it a little interesting to notice that you have various suits, because it is just a color palette swap.
Yeah. Also, Super Lava Room is my Metroid-themed cover band.
Nice.
So are we to believe that the shoulder armor that comes with the Varia suit is just like a portable air conditioning system?
I mean, I wasn't, but that's my new headcanon.
And Samus just stores ice cubes in there.
That's where she keeps her peanuts.
Yeah.
That's where she keeps the pecans.
Yeah.
One shoulder's one shoulder's the alcohol, the other one's the mixer.
Before the recording started, we were all wondering what those shoulder pads were for, what the tubes on the front of Samus's suit were
Just
for.
filled with pecans.
Yeah, one is filled with pecans and the other is filled with seasoning.
Oh yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I was gonna mention I really like these rooms coming up with the vines and the I don't know what those bat things are called. But I like that under the lava and the subterranean caves, there are these organisms that have evolve to eat the other organisms that are like giving you hell.
Yeah. That's something Metroid games do a lot, is like they'll build up a threat by kind of sending you through a series of rooms filled with corpses, especially in the Prime games.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And in those games, it's especially fun because you can use your scan visor to like get a little description of the various horrible ways in which the GF Marines and space pirates are killed.
That is one thing that I
like
wish.
lacerations.
That is one thing that I wish Nintendo would try and implement into the 2D Metroids, is some sort of scan visor, because that is one of my favorite things from the Prime games.
Oh yeah, like AM2R did.
Yeah, notably of which, like, that's the thing, is just, like, I know Nintendo's really bad about, you know, if someone else came up with it, you know, we aren't going to use it, but it would be really nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, that game had a nice compromise because, you know, it doesn't have quite the same level of detail as the logbook in the Prime games, but like at the same time, you just automatically get the scan like when you enter a new area or confront a new kind of boss.
Yeah.
And like you can choose to read it if you want, but you're not like.
Yeah, it's also not
Wow.
intrusive because it's always just up at the top.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's, you know, so it's there, but it's not like as
We got the win,
upfront as it is in the
boys.
Prime
We got
games.
the W.
Yay.
Oh yeah. The wave beam that allows you to shoot through walls and do a little extra damage to enemies.
Yeah.
It's real. It's utility.
It is probably one of the strongest wave beam. One of the strongest beam upgrades because it allows you to, safely dispose of enemies.
Yeah.
And again, with the silent tutorials.
Top 10 wave beams. Number 1, wave beam.
Oh yeah.
I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I know we talked about getting the plasma beam last time. How exactly is the plasma beam different from the wave beam in this?
Plasma beam goes through multiple enemies.
Oh, okay. It doesn't stop with just the one.
It's the same in Fusion.
Okay.
I think the only one it doesn't go through is the Dark Space Marines.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
And it is required to kill them.
Yeah. And you'll see more of them later in a few parts.
Just in case you cheese your way past the first obstacle without wave beam.
Yeah.
This is a cool boss. I like this boss.
Yeah.
And now he's
'Cause,
gone.
That
Oh my
one
god,
was-
you wrecked him.
That mini boss is, particularly interesting because of how you do have to defeat it. And there's not a lot of bosses that require the morph ball bombs.
Well,
Yeah,
it's neat that it teaches you that its belly is vulnerable, but then you don't defeat it by shooting it like you do with let's just call it the demo boss.
Yeah.
You actually have to think for a little bit, like, what do I have in my inventory that I can use to hit its belly? Oh, morph ball bombs.
Yeah. That actually took me about 15-20 minutes on my first ever playthrough of this
Same.
to figure it out. I'm just like, how the hell? Hey, there's a husk of one of the worms.
Yeah. Boy, we're heading right towards Ridley.
Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
the husk is also, related to this boss. Because it is
Yeah.
a...
Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
discount spore spawn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is this,
right.
I was gonna say, is this the Spore Spawn music, but like slightly different?
Yeah, it is. I like this boss because you're technically freeing it from the clutches of the vines.
Mhm.
Well, right, because the boss in this one is actually the spores themselves, rather than the body.
You know what I
There's
like
a
about
boss,
this
like-
boss as opposed to spore spawn is that you always have an opportunity to hit him.
Mhm.
Like it's
Right.
it's not handed to you, but like you can get up there and like hit him. You don't have to just wait in the corner while he does his thing.
So a trick for this boss is the outermost vines you can actually just shoot by looking up.
Oh
So-
really?
Oh, really?
So
I
those
did not know
There's a
that.
quick way to take those out, and then the you can either wait for the Ripper, or you can also jump on the wall to get up there and get an angle.
But yeah, isn't that the only time you see the multi-directional Ripper?
In Zero Mission, I believe so.
Yeah.
So weird seeing a little Ripper with tiny little fly wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two of the little
He's trying his
derp
best.
guys.
Yeah, there's 2 wall heads now.
What?
We'll be seeing more of them later.
I do like this backing music.
It's
very ominous.
I don't know. I always found it kind of strange that like Ridley wasn't already here.
I mean,
Oh God.
To me, it speaks to getting some Zero or Fusion flashbacks.
I guess it makes a little more sense because, like, you know, we're told he's in the supplementary material, we're told that he's the commander of the space pirates. So I guess it would make sense that, like, oh no, Samus just killed Kraid. We need backup.
Yeah,
and Ridley's just
like Kraid was like the manager of this installation, and then Ridley's coming in to like, oh, shit's getting real.
Mm-hmm. Kraid was the manager. He's got a little name tag. He's wearing a tie.
Hello, my name is Kraid.
He's been second.
Samus is that one lady that just like walks up and is like, she just gets on the planet and is immediately like, "Can I speak to your manager, please?"
Oh God.
She's even got blonde hair. That's fantastic.
So before Trey gets out of this room from farming, there is actually a dev-intended shortcut here in this room that allows you to skip getting the super missiles from the bug boss.
Yeah, if you're good at getting shine sparks in that room, you can skip bug boss, kind of.
This was another section that took me a little while to figure out because, you know, I didn't immediately put two and two together. Like, oh, that's the same like bug larva from the boss fight, and it carved out this nice tunnel to lead you to the boss arena.
Yeah, he tunneled his way down. Oh yeah, I really like this boss. He was a real nice addition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm pointing it out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's laying eggs, so it's like you need to defeat this menace now.
Yeah. Otherwise,
before it's too late.
Also, mechanically, this is just one of my favorite bosses, and I'm actually a little disappointed that it's not in the speedrun.
Oh, do they skip him completely?
Oh, really?
This is just the B-boss from Donkey Kong Country.
What was that, Trey?
Oh, do they skip this boss completely in speedrun?
Yes, because of that shortcut I mentioned, you don't have to go to this boss at all.
Oh. Are there more super missile pickups in Ridley's lair?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And every super missile pickup also technically acts as the launcher, so just by picking up any expansion pack, you get the ability to shoot super missiles.
Yeah, kind of like the power bombs in Super Metroid. I always get the power bombs from Norfair before I get the actual, like, intended first tank of power bombs in
well done, Trey.
Lower Brinstar.
Well done.
I'm going for style points. Do a stylish.
That's what the S in Samus stands for.
Yeah.
I thought the S in Samus stood for Samus.
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. Super missiles in hard mode give you 1.
Yeah. The super missiles are the probably the resource that hurts the most, barring, you know, just straight energy in hard mode, because they're extremely important for defeating bosses like Ridley. And so getting only one of them from every tank is quite painful, especially since they also unlock the green doors.
Congratulations, you can now get through one door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the same with, you know, the original Metroid and Super is one missile expansion tank could only open one red door because it took multiple missiles.
Oh yeah, that's a mechanic I don't miss.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
I guess that explains all the recharge spawners or all the bugs.
Yeah. And see, the thing is like that design still just baffles me because, you know, it is well within, you know, a reasonable assumption to make of, oh, this new weapon that I got will open the new door that I couldn't open. And then they go and shoot it once, and it just stays closed.
Ooh, I remember this.
Well,
room.
it reacts to you at least.
Yeah.
There's a room like this in
Which
Super
one
too,
is
and
it?
it gives me trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, now you can't tell because you have the wave beam.
Ooh.
Yep.
This is one of those designs that, again, especially with having grabbed the wave beam, you know, it's just kind of a gotcha of just like, ha, you weren't paying attention. And then you have
Samus wouldn't fall for that, though. She can see in 3 dimensions.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I presumably...
No, because they have holographic projectors on this planet.
Oh my
Those
God.
crafty space pirates.
it would almost look like, say, you know, a grass pit. There'd be something covering it that made it look like solid ground.
After all their other tricks failed, they're trying to get Samus with the classic, just like putting some grass over a pit.
Hey, worked for the Viet Cong.
We learned this one from Team Rocket.
With sharpened bamboo spikes at the bottom.
Okay, we didn't learn that one from Team Rocket.
There's a room exactly like this room in Super.
Oh yeah, I remember that room.
I'm getting some nostalgia here.
Oh boy. Is it nostalgia or PTSD?
Yeah.
I gotta say, since we're talking about Super, I think that game had a much better rendition of Ridley's Lair.
Agreed.
And I know we talked about it in an earlier part, but it really does bear repeating. Lower Norfair in Super Metroid is a classic tune.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This song just sounds like the Simpsons theme slowed down and in a minor key.
Oh. I didn't.
Is it a Giva Center riff? That has to be.
I can no longer get that out of my head, Joe. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you imagine these characters drawn in the Simpsons style?
Oh man.
Ridley, Captain Ridley, he's the greatest guy in history.
Well, I did have to learn how to draw in the Simpson style, so I could do it.
I mean,
Just give Samus yellow skin, a pronounced upper lip.
man.
3/4 view.
I would love Mr. Burns' face on Mother Brain's body.
We
Mr. Brains.
Quick, Simpsons writers, we need a Metroid-themed couch gag.
So in this one, Mother Brain actually doesn't have a body. She is no longer the weird T-Rex thing.
Oh yeah, this was before the dark times.
I like the T-Rex body.
I
Wasn't
enjoyed
the
it.
T-Rex thing only in Super?
Yes.
I like the T-Rex body
and
in
Other
Super.
M.
Not in the Other M
Oh.
cutscene. It just looks, I don't know.
Bad because
That's
it was.
we'll cover that game at some point. But that's just a general qualm I have with the art style. Is just like they kind of. Prime had some enemies from the 2D games, but they were all like appropriately like updated to match the new art style.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Other M just kind of plonks them in there next to like these photorealistic humans.
Oh yeah.
Like you can get away with the more cartoony designs, and you honestly kind of need them in a game like this where you have such a low pixel count and you have to make everything like visually clear and coherent. But Metroid Other M. SD or
That's a
no,
long
it didn't have
It's a
that
long
restriction.
And
So these really simple designs just look kind of awkward.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially when they're taking things like Nightmare or Phantoon. Like
Oh
it
god,
just
Nightmare and Other M.
yeah. It's,
To me, it was like the Space Pirates that stuck out the most because they're just so like bright and cartoony. Or I'm sorry, the Zebesians.
Wait, I thought Space Pirates were like intergalactic. I didn't think they were Zebesians.
No, the pirates in Other M. The pirates in Other M are clones created by the Federation because that game just stole half of its story for Metroid Fusion and repeated it.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that Metroid Other M was like Metroid Fusion, but
Bad.
yeah.
yeah. It's like Metroid Fusion, but not original, and also just kind of like not implemented.
Right. At least
it's half-assed Fusion.
yeah.
basically.
At least Fusion went in with the design document and stuck to it. But Other M was just bad.
Fusion's tight. Like
Yeah, Other M feels like it's torn between like being an origin story and just like a fan servicey game.
wait, origin story, but this is Metroid 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an origin story that takes place after Super.
Samus Aran also doesn't have a panic attack at the mere sight of Ridley in this game.
So unfortunately, Trey, you did actually miss a super missile upgrade in that previous one.
Well, poop.
And that for the speed run, the any percent speed run, that is the first super missile you get. Well, it's the second actually, because there was another one in the next couple of rooms.
I wondered because that room seemed like there may be a secret in it, but I just couldn't figure it out, and I wasn't willing to like take the time to search for it.
It's one of those ones that comes up if you just try and bomb every corner.
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is there anything in this room?
Yes.
Oh yeah, there is. The critical path.
Tricky
So what would
dicky.
Samus having a panic attack look like on the GBA?
This is actually not the critical path. And
remember when I danced in front of the statue of Kraid?
yes.
Yes.
That's what a panic attack looks like.
I see.
See, I was gonna go for
Panic attack at the disco.
I was
Yeah.
I was actually gonna go for the harsher joke and say that Trey's gameplay is just the panic attack.
Damn,
I mean,
dude.
you're not wrong.
I mean, he's been doing some good things. I'm actually extremely impressed.
I'm like 75% where I want to be, like quality wise, like skill wise.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I spent some time, I could get really good at the game. But I don't want to.
I mean, fair enough. There's really not a reason to unless you're planning on like submitting a speedrun.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, which is a major commitment.
Let's submit this playthrough for the speedrun.com.
I mean, if he gets 100%
Well,
completion,
Don't screw up.
As of like video 3, we're already past speedrun time.
yeah.
Although this would, of course, have to go in the segmented speedruns category because it's uploading in episodes.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Trey's strategy is to stand around for 10 seconds at the beginning and end of every episode.
Hey, it's an incredible
Sandbagging.
strategy.
That's how he gets that record time.
For the record, I believe the current speed run world record for Zero Mission is roughly 44 minutes. It's somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know the exact number. So
Whoa, this is a gold boy.
Nice time save on the shine spark there.
5 meter saves giant spark.
hey,
Which required you to go like 3 rooms to the left to build up.
hey, isn't
or
this
3 rooms
Ridley's
to the
room?
right to build up
Why
speed.
isn't Ridley in Ridley's
Yeah.
room?
Yeah, Ridley's not home.
He's on
Come back later.
vacation.
Can you imagine Ridley in sunglasses and a Hawaiian t-shirt? Drawn like the Simpsons.
Oh my
Ridley just shows. He just comes back to Simpsons again.
I'm finally back from Reno! I miss anything?
Yes, your friend is dead.
God,
What the? Ugh.
if I actually had any semblance of free time on my hands, I would have drawn all the thumbnails for this series to be just fucking Metroid characters in the Simpsons style.
So, we're about to see me learn how to fight Ridley,
Oh boy.
in real time. So,
All right.
get ready for a good
Oh, this
time.
is oh my! Where
so-
did all the energy tanks go?
For any of you
Yeah.
my
PETA
God.
enthusiasts out there who are concerned that we're killing a pretty unique creature, Ridley did eat Samus's parents.
Yeah. So this is revenge.
Yeah.
Also, don't worry because he will not die. He just won't.
Yeah. You'll see that in our
Never.
later playthroughs of Fusion and any other Metroid game.
He's like the Joker.
All right. So I'm about to make a save state here inside baseball. I'm playing on a Wii U.
Well, I forget. Wasn't there some story with Wasn't there something with Meta Ridley, and he appeared in a later game, or something.
Are you thinking
But
of
he was,
Prime
like-
1, where it is just meta Ridley? It is a Ridley that's been augmented with machinery after your
Well, I know,
fights.
but I think I remember that, Meta Ridley was in Prime 1, and he was, mostly machine, but a little bit of still biological material.
Ridley goodness.
And then he appeared again sometime. I don't know what game this would be because, whatever. But I think I remember him appearing later, and then there's more biological material. He's
You're probably thinking of
regrowing and
you're
shedding the.
you're probably
am I
thinking
thinking
of Fusion, where there's
No,
an
you're
X
thinking
clone.
of Other M, Dan. Where
Oh.
he starts out as a Furby and slowly evolves into Ridley. Yes. If you're not aware, that is actually what happens in Metroid Other M. That giant,
I-
menacing dragon pterodactyl starts out as a little Furby-looking creature with chicken legs.
I mean, it makes sense.
So
Well, yeah, of course.
I had erased that from my memory, Joe, along with the most of Other M. So thank you for returning that.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm getting my ass thoroughly kicked by Ridley.
I mean, it is on
in these
hard, and he
fights.
is not an easy boss.
No, like you have a little bit of buffer on normal mode because you have a shit ton of health by this time, but he's just mean.
Yeah.
And he has a weird irregular pattern.
Yeah, particularly speedrunning strat for Ridley is to just tank the damage while shooting missiles into him. It's just
How close he is.
if you get if you
Not this time.
try and dodge him like that, you're gonna end up just taking too much damage over the course of it. So you can out DPS him though.
Yeah. Also, I forgot how to wiggle out of him like you can in Super until like the third or fourth try.
Yeah.
And like I use it, like once I figure it out, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
Of course!
I figured out shamefully recently that you can also wiggle out of Yakuza in Fusion,
Yup.
which
Oh,
would have
that boss.
made that boss fight a lot easier.
That's one of those wonderful Metroid bosses that's like really far from a save room too, isn't it?
Yep.
Yup.
And none of the
Yeah, I think
recharge.
that's usually the go-to argument that people who are in favor of, like having more plentiful save rooms or whatever, go to that. Or just being able to save wherever you want, I guess.
I mean, I would go
It's like
personally. I would
Lucky
go
Yakuza.
to the Spider Guardian from Metroid Prime 2 as like the worst example of that. But well, that's just me.
I have yet to experience him, but I feel like it'll be a good time.
Oh, it is. It
Oh, boy.
it definitely is.
Hi there, Trey again. I got a little further on Metroid Prime 2, and I fought the Spider Guardian, and I feel like this next clip describes how I feel about the Spider Guardian in perfect detail.
I think part of
I
the
don't
reason
remember a
that
single.
Yakuza is one of the main points for that argument is because none of the recharge stations work either, because the power is quote-unquote
Yeah.
turned off.
Oh yeah.
You know what always confused me about Yakuza is why would Nintendo want to advertise a Sega franchise? Get a Metroid game, no less.
They have to, advertise their sponsor somehow.
Maybe it's because Metroid isn't popular in Japan. They're just like, play this other game.
I mean, Yakuza is... Speaking of...
God!
Welcome.
Oh no, I know what's coming. Oh no.
Oh my god.
I now know why you turned the volume down.
Yeah?
Just gonna preempt this. That is a bit of a teaser for when we eventually get to Fusion. Let's just say that the sound design in that one was a bit
Oh.
abrasive.
You're
Wow,
all welcome.
that happened.
Oh, man.
Making a hilarious cameo. Bugs Bunny.
No, that's Fusion Ridley.
Yeah,
Didn't you see?
It was clearly Ridley. My bad.
Ridley.
I must have been hallucinating
Oh
or
man,
something.
that super drop would be nice. Nice.
Yeah, it is. I take advantage of it.
That's real good. Supers are strong.
Hey, look, he's red now, just like he was in Super.
Just like he was like 9 tries ago.
Hey, you did it.
Oh, there he goes.
God, that's half the reason I put that joke in there. 'Cause I was so frustrated by this point.
We
I'm
need
like,
some-
I need something.
I'd
We need some
imagine.
levity.
But
Trey
yeah,
just went to YouTube and watched that clip, and it gave him the strength to defeat Ridley.
get a little
Yeah, there's a little
celebration
party
dance in
dance.
there.
Yeah.
And wisely going
That-
back
that-
for
that
the
was-
recharge.
That was Samus having a panic attack post Ridley.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That's what it looks like.
Oh man.
For the record,
So-
I have no issue with the idea of her, like, you know, maybe being a little distraught at the first time she encounters like the monster that ate her parents in front of her when she was 8 years old. But like, And it's been said many times, but like that scene happens in the penultimate Metroid game timeline wise. It's like he thought like, oh, I should probably have some kind of trauma happen when Samus encounters Ridley. What are we working on right now? The second to last Metroid game in the timeline. I'll just shove it in there, whatever. I mean, people won't question it.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense because at that point she is, has fully come into her whole, I'm a hardened mercenary at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably just remembering that one time that she died fighting Ridley like 8 times in a row, trying to fight him on hard mode.
I mean, that'd give anybody a...
I've been to Tartarus 9 times. Well, that's part 5. Ridley's dead. Come back next time.
We'll see what we're killing
Yeah,
then.
when he'll be back.
Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.